Hey, I'm on the edge of my seat here, back again with another brand new video, and today I will be no-damaging all the boss fights in Roblox Dead Souls on Dead Souls difficulty. This is the hardest difficulty in the game, and it makes enemies not stagger as much as in normal difficulty, because they might stagger if you shoot them in the beginning, but these enemies do not stagger unless you kill them, or you deal a really heavy blow. And it really changes up the flow of combat because enemies are just so much more aggressive. And that does come into play in some of these boss fights, but though not with this boss fight because it's a 1v1. Roblox Akiyama versus the Resident Evil Rejection. I just let the video play out by itself without my commentary because this Roblox video is the first one to not get copyright claimed whatsoever. With every single other Roblox video I've made up to this point, which covers quite a vast variety of Roblox games, every single one of them, every single no commentary version of those videos which I've made have gotten copyright claimed for the music in them. This is the first time where that is not the case because usually my strategy is my no commentary videos would get copyright claimed, but the commentary videos I would mix my talking loud enough where it blocks the music and it doesn't get copyright claimed, and it's worked out so far. But that's not necessary this time, because now there's no need to do it because the original footage isn't copyright claimable. However, this is also my shortest Roblox video given that Roblox Dead Souls has the least amount of bosses, and also just given how long each boss fight takes to put down, it just doesn't last nearly as long as every single other Yakuza game, or Roblox game for that matter, given the similarities between Roblox and Yakuza. And since we're talking about similarities and differences between the Yakuza and Roblox series, there is this recurrent trend to call Roblox Akiyama a washed-up porn star, and that's just simply not true. This was true in the original Yakuza text because they made many jokes that his attire made him look like a washed-up so-and-so. You get the picture. But in Roblox, they never actually make that joke in text. It's never mentioned. So it's actually a part of Akiyama's character that's exclusive to Yakuza, not Roblox. Roblox keeps it pretty simple and just says that he's a bank teller, or used to be before becoming a loan shark. And I just think that's really important to mention because I have seen a lot of miscommunication and misinformation spread around the internet. As for strategies on how to fight this boss fight, I actually would recommend looking at my previous Yakuza Dead Souls no damage, given that the games are very similar, and the strategies in this game are pretty straightforward given the somewhat simplified combat system. I mean, can you really call it a simplified combat system given that in the previous Roblox and Yakuza games you didn't have to aim like this? You know, even when you had a gun you couldn't aim like that, so there is some complication to this. I mean, the control scheme is definitely takes a while to get used to, but at its core, you shoot the enemy and that's it, and sometimes shooting the enemy gets a little more complicated, so you have to go into that aiming mode. However, one big difference between Yakuza and Roblox Dead Souls is that Roblox Dead Souls is actually harder, given that they deliberately remove a lot of the vision from your screen. Even when you go into the aiming mode, you can't really see the enemy because the characters are far more massive. And this was an intentional design decision because the developers really wanted you to hone in on the sound design. They wanted you to find the enemy through echolocation, given that every single Roblox character has the ability to, do echolocation. They have the ability of rats, bats. Do you remember that one book written by the Hunger Games author, which was a 5-book series for children? And it was pretty much like a whole rat kingdom, underneath someone's washing machine. And the 4th book had a white rat Hitler in it. It was a pretty crazy thing. You should not be confused. The character on screen right now is not a rat. It is a big-ass cat, and it is Majima's grandfather who has come back somehow and is helping out everyone fight these zombies. And we need all the help we can get. And Majima's grandfather, who else? After all the things Majima's grandfather did in Roblox 0, and he did kind of lose his path on Roblox 5, but he was quickly brought back to the light. Watch my Roblox 5 video for more context on that, but he is here to help. He is a hero at this moment in time. Moment? No, moment. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. So yeah, I won't be talking too much about combat tech because it is pretty straightforward. However, I will say that the QTEs in this game are insanely fast. Insanely fast. I do manage to hit all of them, but I'm telling you, they are not very easy, especially with the final boss, but I'll get to that later. And also, in regards to Majima's grandfather, there is actually a very touching moment, very wholesome, where Majima's grandfather and Majima meet up and they work together to like defeat the bad guys. In fact, it actually happens in an upcoming boss fight, so I'll mention it there. But I will say that in order to promote this video, I may have misled my entire audience, because I kept talking about the Steam Deck. I tested the Steam Deck, I have a Steam Deck, and Roblox Kiwami 2 works on the Steam Deck. Yakuza Dead Souls works on the Steam Deck. However, Roblox Dead Souls here is not being recorded on a Steam Deck. It is actually being recorded on my laptop. Now, the original plan was to use a Steam Deck because I believe the Steam Deck has far higher processing power than my laptop. My laptop is kind of on its last dying legs. However, it may be dying, but my laptop is a fighter, and that is how we got here to this point. And here we have the Love Chain Gun, and it is pretty cool. I will say its sound design kind of makes it hard to hear the music sometimes. It's just so loud with its music, like, it is so loud. How do you get that? And yeah, you may be wondering why the footage is in sub 480p. Now, YouTube may tell you that the footage is 1080p, but I only exported it as 1080p. This is not originally 1080p footage. This is like sub 480. And the reason it's sub 480 is because my laptop has 75% of the processing power of a Nintendo Switch. So a Switch port of Yakuza Dead Souls and Roblox Dead Souls is possible, but do you really want it? That's the question to ask. The Big Ass Cat and Roblox Akiyama team up to defeat the Spider Crab Zombie, and though that attack is super dangerous because pretty much the hit detection on those purple blades can be just absolutely deadly. I don't know, if you touch it even slightly, you'll get chip damage. I mean, if you get hit by it completely, then that's like full damage. And here's a good way to do a QTE attack. Pretty much whenever it does the big jump, just kind of spam triangle. It doesn't always work, it's a little shoddy sometimes, but it should work most of the time. Wait, shoddy? Spotty? I forgot what the exact word is. Like here, I messed up somehow, but I forgot how I messed up. I do like doing this though because it syncs up with the music better, but I have no idea why I got stuck in this little animation. Like, was I supposed to like press up to get it? And here I dodged out of the way, even though I don't think I needed to dodge because I don't think the enemy was ever going to attack me, because sometimes when you're fighting with a partner, the enemy will target that very same partner. And Roblox Dead Soul did have a tighter budget, so sometimes some of the animations may look a little bit more stilted, and well, even though they had a tighter budget than Yakuza Dead Souls, I still think they brought out a really emotional, heart-wrenching experience. I will say those budget cuts did harm it really effectively later on in the video, and I'll explain it when we get there. But I'm telling you, these QTEs, like, I don't know how I'm hitting these QTEs. Like, I mean, because I remember when I was playing this game back on the PS3, oh yeah, did I even mention? On the PS3 for Yakuza Dead Souls, there's actually a cheat. You can pretty much like press the PS home button and it'll go to like the home screen and not actually pause the QTE, so you can see what button to press and not have to actually react that fast. Actually, look at this. Now, why is Goro Majima there? Well, it's just because he actually showed up out of nowhere and he actually helped out the Big Ass Cat, his grandfather, and Roblox Akiyama in defeating the zombie menace. And, it's kind of a thing because, like, Majima's grandfather and him have a bit of a dicey relationship because Majima's grandfather didn't want Majima to go into, like, the Yakuza business, and he wanted him to go into baseball. But, it never went through, and he's like, why did you become part of the Yakuza? He thought that, like, all that time he spent teaching him baseball went to waste. But in this moment, where he did a perfect swing with a grenade into that enemy's mouth, he realized that all that training did not go to waste, and he became more proud of Majima as a result. The Big Ass Cat, his grandfather, is more proud of him after that moment. It's a very touching reunion. Like, you only really saw part 1 of it. There's a whole part 2 with a cutscene and everything. But yeah, here's where the budget cuts really hurt Roblox Dead Souls. Due to time constraints, they actually cut out the entire second phase of this fight, and it's really sad. I mean, they still bring a nice way to kind of bring this octopus's death scene, you know, really give it the emotion it deserves. They actually added like extra tidbits to the cutscene just to kind of make up for the fact that there is no second phase, but yeah, there is no second phase, and like that second phase was my favorite boss fight in Yakuza Dead Souls, so to see it not return here was a massive and crying shame. Now let's talk strategy here, because it is slightly different from the original fight, given that the Roblox model blocks most of your vision. First, you have to get yourself into the left corner like the original fight, but you really have to get yourself into that left corner in order to become transparent, because if you don't get into the left corner enough, it's not going to become transparent like this. So you have to kind of angle yourself in a way where it's completely transparent so that you can aim at the red spots. And it's a pain in the ass, but it is possible. But, you know, you kind of have to, like, wiggle around in there. And now, here is Roblox Ryuji's final fight. And I should probably mention, Roblox Ryuji, he wasn't always Roblox. In Roblox Kiwami 2, he wasn't a Roblox character. He was normal. However, whenever you become the protagonist of a Roblox game, the Roblox spirit kind of takes over you. It's kind of like a vessel. Have you ever seen Neon Genesis Evangelion? It's kind of like that, but on a much smaller scale because, well, the robots on Neon Genesis Evangelion are too big. So on a much smaller scale, these Roblox characters are kind of vessels for these characters to take over. And sometimes the vessel becomes human, or the human becomes a vessel. And it's a really engaging dichotomy. And it's just a big reason why I like these Roblox games so much. And I just recommend them in like no damage, all of them. It's just, I feel a very strong drive to do them. But yeah, but for this boss fight, pretty much run all the way to the end here, you know, until you have enough space between the zombies and like the Resident Evil rejects, because, you know, the Resident Evil rejects, they love to like zoom in on you, and if you don't have enough space between them, or if you don't dodge to the left or right, it's gonna hit you. And like the big monkey here, he likes to throw these like cannons, and sometimes he throws rocks, and if he throws rocks, you can't do a QTE, but if he throws these, they're not called cannons, these explosive barrels, then you can do a QTE as long as you have heat. But if you're constantly shooting something, you do gain heat pretty quickly, especially since this is a New Game Plus file I'm doing here. Well, not technically New Game Plus. This is on Dead Souls mode, and the thing with Dead Souls mode is that you can't do New Game Plus on Dead Souls. However, Yakuza Dead Souls and Roblox Dead Souls has a mode where you can revisit every single mission you've done previously and do it again. And that's what I'm doing. And the thing about that mode is that it's only accessible in Premium Adventure, and Premium Adventure keeps track of what the difficulty of your last playthrough was. So if your last playthrough was on Dead Souls, the difficulty of this mission select will also be Dead Souls. Thing is, certain Premium Adventure modes in some of the previous Yakuza Roblox games, once you enter Premium Adventure mode, the game immediately goes back to just being normal difficulty regardless of what your previous difficulty was. This is true of Roblox 4 and Yakuza 4. Double check that, because it is dangerous if you want to like do the Amon fights on X Hard. You know, you might get caught off guard. You know, X Hard Legend, it may not be there for you if you're trying to do it in Premium Adventure. Be very, very careful. Now, one of the big advantages of this mission select mode is that you don't have to replay the entire game over again just to replay these boss fights. And it did make the no damaging section of my process much faster, given that there aren't really that many boss fights, and for the most part, they're all mostly pretty easy. So I'm able to do that. Now, one disadvantage of the mission select mode is that you don't have checkpoints when you had checkpoints in the original game. So sometimes, you know, you'd start the second phase of a fight and it gives you a checkpoint. But during mission select mode, you don't get that checkpoint. It kind of expects you to do it all in one go. So for no damage, that is very, very difficult. And, well, another advantage of the mission select mode is I have all my upgraded gear, so I'm able to defeat the flying thing much quicker. However, another advantage, this is the biggest one of all, I don't have to deal with that monkey! Like, if you want more context on what I'm referring to, watch my original Yakuza Dead Souls No Damage. It is very educational. There's a lot of suffering on display, and you'll understand why this was necessary. And here we are fighting the tragic fate of Hayashi, and it's such a tragedy. You can just feel it in the atmosphere and everything. It's such a tragic fight, the way he walks, the way he runs. Though he isn't that hard to fight, just the one thing you have to watch out for is that he is very fast. sometimes in the beginning of the fight he'll actually run straight past me and like deal clip damage to me, though sometimes he'll run and deal clip damage to Ryuji. And one of the most dangerous things you have to watch out for is the final phase, where once he reaches his green health bar, he'll try to, like, you know, rush Ryuji and steal his chain gun. Roblox Ryuji in this case, and you do not want that, because once he gets the chain gun, he's going to hit you no matter what you do. Except I'm not even sure if that's true, because while I was experimenting with Hayashi here, I think I actually found a way to dodge his attacks while he was using the chain gun. However, you have to be constantly dodging, and it's just kind of stressful, so, you know, really watch out for that. And also sometimes with these QTEs, it happened to me multiple times, but if you're too close to the target when you do the QTE, the resulting explosion will also damage you. In fact, watch my previous video before my no commentary and you'll see what I mean. My second teaser for Roblox Dead Souls. Like, that's exactly what happened in that video. And see, I got very lucky there, because most of the time when Hayashi knocks over Ryuji at that point, you know, in this stage of the fight, he steals the chain gun, but for some reason he just knocked him over and just kept walking without stealing the chain gun. So at least here I found out that it is possible to kill Hayashi before he steals the chain gun. So that's what I did there. He died. It is very sad, but it had to be done. He was too far gone. Now this is the boss fight where my laptop is dying. It's fighting for its life. It's like a terminal illness. However, it breaks through, you know, just like our Roblox heroes here, it succeeds, but not without dipping the frame rate into like the subatomic here. Now, this also kind of happened on PS3, but given my laptop's processing power, it's even worse here. And before on the PS3, in my no damage attempt, I instead shot the booty cheeks off the other monster. I literally made the other monster laugh its ass off, but here, I'm being more generous and I'm just shooting his friend in the face instead. And its whole healing process is just counterproductive, because now both of them have less health than what they started with, you know? Like, the way they were managing their health resources is just not good at all. So, yeah. Be careful. I do play this one pretty risky, because before I actually had a no damage attempt, but when I was trying to no damage the next boss fight, I accidentally no damaged these two guys again, and you know, I succeeded. And I got a better attempt this time around. You know, it was more stylish. I did more risky dodges. You know, I did more of these, though I don't know if you really want to do more of these given how slow the frame rate makes them. But yeah, this boss fight, I don't know. I don't think it's like hard to say that this boss fight is one of the boss fights that makes this game chug the hardest out of like the whole game. It's just, I don't know what it is. Is it like just these two creatures being in the same room at the same time? Is that what makes it chug? Is it just the room itself? Is it just really fancy? Is it a combination of both of these things? Is it the fact that they can shoot oil and like the coding for like the oil property is like really hard? I don't fully understand game development, but whatever happened here, this part is not optimized to the best of its ability. Or rather, it was pushing the PS3 to its absolute limits. And the PS3 is just an absolutely courageous, weird, tangled beast of a system. So much code here and there that just is not very easy to understand. That's why Metal Gear Solid 4 has not been ported to other consoles yet. So there we have a nice dodge roll from Roblox Kiryu himself, you know, very smooth, very tactical, and I will say the beginning of this fight can go so many different ways, but when he starts rushing at you with like his red dodge swipes, dodge dashes, you know, there's a lot of words for dodges in games, and when he turns red, you know, kind of wait for him to try to do the grab and then, you know, dodge him there, but sometimes he won't target you, he'll target Ryuji, Roblox Ryuji. And sometimes when he does the shooting move, you can actually hide behind the pillars to avoid the bullets. And that's not true when the big dogs like swipe their arms at you. You can't actually hide behind the pillars when they do that. But when our zombie here tries to shoot us, you can take cover, like in a cover shooter. There are no cover mechanics in this game except for this moment. If I'm wrong, correct me on that in the comments, but I'm pretty sure you don't really have to take cover in that sense ever again. And then, like, This first phase can be a bit RNG, because if he targets you, you're kind of screwed. You can kind of dodge it, but it's a lot harder. If he targets Ryuji, you can just kind of wail on him with bullets. And here we pretty much have to figure out where the heart is, and I just love this whole setup here with all like the flesh zombies, the blood zombies coming out. It's such a cool image. Like, I don't know if it's ripping off something, but it's so dope. And it's kind of weird that like this guy is so overpowered that he can summon blood zombies, but you know, I'll just take it. And then once we find the heart, we can just keep shooting it. And here I'm trying to like keep a peripheral vision here just to see if there are any zombies pulling up, because if you position yourself right, they won't really come for you. And now it's only going to take one more shot to take him out, so I'm going to kind of, you know, take my chances and kind of free aim a bit. And there we go. We have taken out the big zombie. No, the big zombie's coming up. Watch this. Yo, this fight is really tragic, and it's just that like they actually switched some things for the Roblox rendition of the game. Pretty much the villain here, you know, the big zombie, he didn't want to be the big zombie, so you know the tragedy comes with this like mishap of fate. He actually wanted to become a zombie leprechaun, but for him there was no rainbow. I mean, look around, is there any water? I mean, I'm just gonna take a little stab here and say that there is no water in this arena. Too much stuff is burning, it's too dry, you know, it's like a corporate building. There's probably some water downstairs. There's probably like a water fountain installed, maybe like a sewage system of sorts. And this QTE is so awful, but like I managed to do it. I don't know how I managed to do it, but it is insanely fast. And like if you fail it, you pretty much have to like redo it over and over again. It's not like if you fail it, you just don't have to do it. No, you have to do it. If you can't pass the trial of like, you know, doing that QTE, you won't beat this boss. The boss will just reset back to like before the QTE. But yeah, there was no rainbow. There was no gold. All there was war, death, and other topics which will get this video demonetized. You know, Roblox Dead Souls is a surprisingly mature experience, though it does handle everything very tastefully, and I don't think it does anything to be edgy or offensive needlessly. You just have to experience it for yourself. But yeah, thankfully Asagi here is back, and it's kind of weird that Asagi didn't become like a Roblox character. I don't know. She was kind of approaching becoming a main character, but I guess she also kind of suffers from the celebrity casting, which kind of stops her from fully embracing the Roblox vessel, and that's a whole different complication. I don't know, you have to watch the other videos to like the other Roblox videos to really fully understand that feeling, because it really is a feeling when you get down to it. And here's the part of the boss fight which I don't like. I mentioned it before, but it kind of just devolved into a tutorial with like a few hard QTs. Look at this, like we've been using the aiming system this whole time. The previous boss fights had like harder versions of using the said aiming system. I mean, look at the octopus. I mean, the amount of like aiming the octopus boss fight requires from you compared to the amount of aiming this boss fight requires from you for the grenades, it's just like, it's night and day. This is for babies. Like this section right here. And then the rest of this just kind of plays itself aside from, you know, the big QT. And like I understand the rocket launcher part playing itself, because this is like the big epic part where you win, you know. It's like, it's kind of a trope in all the Resident Evil games to like end with the big rocket launcher, and it's always awesome. And you know what, this one's pretty awesome too. This is a pretty dope, like, you know, RPG ending. I'm just gonna say that. So like at this point, this game also has RPG-like elements, so to be fair, every single game does, and this one right here is the worst QT, and I don't know how I managed to land it, because, I mean, I pretty much, I just woke up, I did this on the first try. I mean, mind you, I did do this boss fight a few times before the first try, because I did it yesterday, but like, the day I did it was the first try. And thank you so much for watching, happy Halloween, and be sure to watch the movie Mad God on wherever you can find it. It's my favorite film of 2021, and I'll see you all then.